Hi guys, this is Mrs. Novello in the Expressive Arts Classroom, and I'm going to talk to you today about how to watercolor resist your border for the illuminated letter. So on the 9 by 12 piece of paper, you see that I have a 1-inch border, and within the 1-inch border I've created thick stylized lines along 4 sides of my border. I also have a themed image on all 4 corners that is going to relate to my illuminated letter theme. Remember, the interior space is going to stay blank because that is where you're going to place your 9 by 6 illuminated tooling template once you're finished. So that will be the final step for assembly. But for now, we need to do our watercolor first so that that dries so that assembly can take place the day that we finish our tooling. So what I've done is I've outlined my border using a ruler using a black crayon. And all of this color will be done with crayon, but I like the black because it really makes a bold statement and defines the area of your border and then your interior space where your letter will be. So outline with black. Then choose crayons that relate to whatever theme design you have. I chose reds and oranges to kind of create a fire sun motif. So once I color those thick design lines with crayon, nice and solid, and my theme designs, then I'm going to add my watercolor. I'm going to stick to a simple color, and I think red will look best. There's a couple ways you can go about doing this. You can use a watercolor palette and drop in water into the colors that you want to use, or you can mix water with paint and stick to one color that you like. I'm going to show you how each one looks and you can decide for yourself. So I know that I want my border to be red, so I've mixed equal ratios of water and red paint along here in this bowl, and now what I'm going to do is very carefully paint over my watercolor or my crayon design that I made. And you can see that I get a really bold color when I use the water and paint mixture. And it will gradually resist the crayon that I drew on. So you can kind of see now the paint resisting the wax, and the wax is now revealing itself underneath the red bold color. And for a border, I like that. Here's my other option. As I said earlier, you would drop your brush into water and use the color from a watercolor palette and paint this way. You may not get as bold of a color that you want using the watercolors, but depending on what look you want, you may want to choose this route. Now, even though you are going to be adding your metal tooling in the interior space, try and be careful not to go outside of your border lines. So you can see the difference between using a watercolor palette on the left or mixing color with paint on the right. Whatever look you want is up to you, and there's no right or wrong way. So you all need to continue coloring your border using whatever color technique you choose, and you may want to stick to using one color for all 4 sides, or maybe having a same color for the left and right side and a different color for top and bottom. You also want to paint your 4 corners where the symbols are. And what might look nice is a contrasting color. So for instance, if I have red on all 4 sides of my border, I may want to create a contrast by using a lighter color like yellow. Let's see if I can get this yellow after my brush has red on it. And lightening that up so that your corner details stand out, since those are images that relate to your theme. So select a contrasting color, a color that is either lighter than your border or darker than your border, and that ties into the detailed image that's within those corners so that it creates overall contrast. So I'm just going to finish up this border now. You all can decide what method you want to use for coloring, but I just want to give you your final visual for what your border will take on. We're using Watercolor Resist with crayon, 4 stylized line designs, and 4 corner themed designs. All right, get started.